Welcome to episode 85 of the OVW podcast, the unofficial podcast of Ohio Valley Wrestling. My name is Jack Minogues.
And I'm Brian Hines. With us, as always, is the disembodied voice of our producer, Tiny Brian.
Yo.
Today we're getting into all the action from OVW TV 1330, emanating live, originally on February 7th from legendary Hot Point Davis Arena.
I thought you were going to say allegedly.
Allegedly, it aired live. I was there live. I was not watching it air. I watched it. When I watched it, it was taped, technically. So, allegedly, it aired live.
Yeah, we were there.
We were there. So, I don't know. But that's why I cannot speak to the live broadcast.
I see.
We've got a lot to get into. Big episode of OVW this week. Let's knock out all of the paperwork real quick in the form of tour updates.
All right. We've got every Thursday, OVW Rise at Hot Point Davis Arena at 6:30 p.m. Tonight, OVW Tough Love at Hot Point Davis Arena, and that is February 8th this evening. OVW Appalachian Armageddon, Pikeville, Kentucky, is part of the legendary Hillbilly Days Festival, April 25th, and a free all-ages show at Element Eatery in Cincinnati, and that is June 28th. You can get tickets for all of these shows at OVWTix.com.
And we'll be back right after this.
Hey guys, Tiny Brian here with you, and guys, you were actually on camera and you spent time with our sponsor this week, coming back for a back-to-back duty here. Why don't you talk? You got some notes there. Why don't you help us talk about our sponsor?
Are you talking about Jason at bookpitchperfect.com?
That is correct, Jason. Yes, you guys sat with him. He was at
No, please, the full name, Jason at bookpitchperfect.com.
Sure, Jason at.
That's his last name?
Yes.
Is at bookpitchperfect.com.
Jason at bookpitchperfect.com.
Okay. It almost was a completely different website there for a minute. I believe his middle name is at.
Yes.
It's Jason at bookpitchperfect.com.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Listen,
so what does he do?
Let me say this first. Jason, great guy. Loved hanging out with Jason last night.
Absolutely did. Very kind, very gracious.
Second to any other potential sponsor of the OVW podcast, we promise we will get your contact info in more times than humanly possible. Jason at pitchperfect.com. Jason does
bookpitchperfect.com.
at bookpitchperfect.com. Jason does...
What doesn't he do?
A multitude of things. Yeah, what doesn't he do? He's a DJ, wedding DJ, event DJ. Any event, I assume, that's on the up and up. Don't nothing dirty for Jason. He's too good of a guy. Unless you pay him right.
Everybody has a price.
Everybody has a price. He also has like a photo booth, not only like, just a regular old school photo booth, but like a big cube thing that he can bring to events.
I didn't get a chance to get into that at the Waterfront show, but I was really intrigued by that, and I thought it was a wonderful opportunity to get your picture taken with some of the OVW superstars.
And he will be at Tough Love tomorrow evening, or tonight as you are hearing this, as it drops on Saturday morning. He
is also at Pitch Perfect Louisville on Instagram.
He is at, and if you ever, don't call him.
Perfect Pitch.
Don't blow up his spot or anything like that. Call him with legitimate business opportunities. But 502-298-4077, or email him at email him Facebook Perfect Pitch, Instagram Perfect Pitch Louisville, Jason at bookpitchperfect.com.
Hey guys, this would be really great. It would be if you guys are on Instagram out there, go give him a follow. He's doing all right. He could use a few follows. Let him know that let him feel the sponsorship. Mm-hmm. So if you're listening to this, take a minute. It's Pitch Perfect Louisville. We follow him. He puts out quality content. He's not going to spam your feed. So go give him a follow. Show him your support.
Let him know tomorrow night, or tonight, I guess I should say, as you're listening to this. Already made that mistake once. Let's see if we can go for 3 times before the end of the show. If you're at Tough Love, he will be selling tie-dye roses as well, and that's a perfect opportunity not only get your picture taken, pick up something cool for the wrestling sweetheart in your life, and while you're there, tell Jason that you heard about him on the show.
Yeah, it's $20 per session, includes the free long stem rose while supplies last.
I definitely want one of those tie-dye roses.
Yep, a digital copy of your picture. He'll text it to you. He will email it to you. Whatever you got, he will send you a digital version of that. plus a hard copy of the picture. We have several of those around our offices here.
We have patronized Jason's photo booth before.
That was one of my favorite pictures of us together. Is the one that we took at the wedding over the summer.
It was a good one. It was a good picture.
The most aggressive picture I have of me ever. I am kind of doing the weightlifter kind of forward pump, look like brackets with your arms.
You for an easier frame of reference, you're wearing a Cash Smash shirt where he's kind of looking like the Incredible Hulk.
And I am doing the Hulk arms.
You're doing the Hulk arms.
As best I can.
That's where that came from. That was at...
Yeah, that was at Fight Night.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, Jason at bookpitperfect.com. Say hello to him if you're at Tough Love. Say hello to him out if you see him at Walmart or whatever. And we thank you for being our first sponsor, man. We had a blast hanging out with you last night.
We absolutely did. We can't thank you enough. We're very, very grateful for you.
And now back to the OVW podcast, already in progress.
Bout number 1 of the evening. Tata Vic and Sophia Rose here. Given the main event of the evening is J-Rod and Hollywood Haley J, I think you had to have Tata Vic on this card because it's a strong Revolution kind of heavy night, right?
Yeah, and they start and end with the women's matches, so it was a nice way to bookend this episode.
For sure. Tata Vic ends up taking the victory, but we continue to kind of invest in Sophia Rose. She's protected in the victory because Tata Vic's got a big old handful of tights.
Yeah.
And we actually see a ton of Sophia Rose throughout this evening. So I think that the loss, because it was questionable and because she was so present, kind of she can kind of eat it, right?
Eat the loss?
Eat the loss.
Yeah. She is all over this episode, and I'm here for it.
Having said that, I was kind of surprised to see her lose here. I feel like she's just got all of the momentum in the world, but there was a couple of choices over the course of the evening where I didn't expect the people to lose.
Yes.
Eric Surge being probably the biggest, but we'll get to that in time.
Will.
How long do you think the Sophia Love thing is going to continue?
I honestly don't know. I hope this thing keeps going for a good long time because I love this angle. I love the new dude review.
Yes.
It has a name now. That's the important part.
Which means it's not going anywhere.
For me personally, this episode was a tale of two cities. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
I could see that. I mean, one of the biggest moments that we've seen in OVW since we've been covering it, for sure.
But I'm here for her antics with Dude Love and now Carter Kaufman and Ryan Von Rocket being the rock and roll minstrel who's keeping this party going. I love it. As a matter of fact, when we get to the dance off, the contract signing and the actual dance off later, I'm going to leave those on while we're talking about them because I literally laughed so hard during all of these segments that I legitimately had tears.
I could only really offer one criticism of the Sophia Love thing so far, and it's that her very natural charisma gets lost in all of this
with the Mick Dust.
Yeah, and all of these like huge personalities around her. Mick Foley, Dude Love, Ryan Von Rocket. Her very natural and very like sweet charisma, her very natural likability, kind of it just gets it gets lost. I mean, it gets glazed over. I feel like in a way. I feel I maybe it's because in my mind I was like, no, this is gonna be like Sophia Rose, the single star, like this year forever, right? And now we're doing something that I find entertaining. I love Gaga, I love chaos in wrestling, but I was like, no, we're on the path for her to be the next women's champion, and I wonder if this is that path. I guess.
I mean, if you've got Dude Love in your corner.
It's never a bad thing to be around Mick Foley. It's never a bad thing to be around Mick Foley. I don't know. For what it's worth today, too, I didn't take any of my supplements. So.
Oh, yeah.
I've been having a rough day today.
Well, it's been a long week, man. It has been a busy week. There's been a lot of things that have happened here at the old work, the old day job, and we went to Louisville last night on our own. Brian wasn't able to make it, so it was just the two of us, which is uncharacteristic. And we'll be back there tomorrow night.
Yeah, we will. I just
tonight.
Shout out to here's some free advice for everybody: L-theanine, GABA, 5-HTP. Stuff will change your life.
Not to be construed as medical advice.
No.
Not to be confused with Yo Gabba Gabba.
Or that.
That was also good stuff. That's also
yes,
good
it was.
So this is what I'm saying is this is gonna be one of those old school episodes where I'm just persnickety for no reason. We haven't had one of these in a while. We were due.
So it's a flashback episode.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of big feelings this week, and that tends to make you grumpy.
Yeah, something like that.
Very emotionally draining.
What were you saying, Tiny Brian?
Based on what I saw, I do have one observation. How good was it for Carter Kaufman that she felt comfortable running a tambourine on TV?
It's not like it's a forklift. It's
still. She was in. Look how much she was suddenly in the show this week.
Is she tambourine certified?
Apparently, she did all right with it. She was keeping the beats.
For what it's. Well, I mean, keeping the beats. That's generous.
What beat there was, she was keeping.
No, I will give her this as far as her new role in the New Dude Review. She jumped full force into it, baby. She is not looking back.
No, good for her. As she should.
And good for her. Right.
Well, I mean, the baseball thing, I enjoyed her, and I assume she'll still use it. Her theme music. It's got a cool little sound of baseballs hitting bats, and she wears a jersey and whatnot. I enjoy that particular character, but she probably doubled her stock last night just for all the screen time she had. And
yes.
Yeah.
And like I said, full force, head on. It was
to not even have a match.
Just diving in, baby.
I got a really good picture of the New Dude Review right before the contract signing, and there's a picture of her, keeping time with the tambourine, and the light hits the tambourine just right, and it's all like holographic and reflective in the middle, and it just shines straight from the tambourine. And if I haven't already posted it, I'll try to post that on social media, and so you can see what all the hubbub was about.
Yeah, it was a fun night last night.
It was.
Up until it wasn't. So, second match of the evening is Dustin Jackson, OVW Media champion Dustin Jackson versus Anthony Toatelli, who is, I guess, our most recent guest. The Anthony Toatelli man is week after week showing how very impressive he is. I love these kind of guys. His height and weight and the style of wrestling. Very, very physical guy. And through sitting down and talking to him, like, he loves the process of, like, being in somewhere new and buying into this program. And that's how you get, screen time with the hottest babyface in the company, Dustin Jackson.
He is the real deal.
Absolutely.
I mean, we got that impression talking with him, his enthusiasm for getting in the ring, his love for the sport itself, what it means to him and his relationship to his father growing up. This guy lives and breathes wrestling, and that comes out in the ring, and it very much did last night.
But Dustin Jackson's on fire, right?
That is a hard fire to put out.
Losing to Dustin Jackson right now is just what's going to happen to a guy like Anthony Toatelli. But Anthony Toatelli, like I said, he loves, and like you're saying, he loves the process. He wants to be on screen in this segment because he's on screen with two champions after PJ Jones. Well, of course, Dustin Jackson wins with the cutter.
The DJT, Dustin Jackson Terminator cutter, is what they called it.
Not a fan. Need a workshop.
It seems like a bit much.
Needs a workshop.
But it's the DJ cutter.
It's just,
which sounds like a 90s rapper.
If you put it like that, it sounds like our friend and sponsor Jason at Perfect Pitch is in some serious trouble the next time he's there, because if there's somebody out there cutting DJs,
That's one. That's one for. That's one for. I don't know. Name Columbo.
So I was. I'm on the trail of this DJ cutter.
Listen here, Al.
You got to do the cross-eyed because he had a glass eye.
Just one more question.
Just one, Mish. Listen here, Mish.
Just one more thing.
None of us know what Columbo sounds like.
Well, I mean, it's not like 1982 or whatever, so.
The last time I tried to watch Columbo was when we were over at your house, and it wasn't Columbo.
It said it was Columbo, but it was clearly something different. It was like some British movie from the 60s that, oddly enough, was equally as fascinating, if not more.
Well, and it was one of those things, too, where we'd been out, and you get back home, and you're like, let's eat some microwaved pizza things and watch Columbo, because that was the state of mind we were in.
Yeah.
That was a weird choice, Columbo. I don't know why we landed on that.
We were looking for something else. It was probably something wrestling related, but I can't remember what it was. It was like, ooh, Columbo's on.
Yeah, and then our hamster-sized brains were like, oh, actually, Columbo sounds good. I could go for Columbo now.
I really love a man in a raincoat.
So after Dustin Jackson beats Anthony Toatelli with the DJ cutter, PJ Jones appears.
Esquire.
And he, he's of course now the legal representative of Doug, and Doug eventually appears, and
because there is no ambulance, PJ Jones will not chase.
Nope. It's all about the paycheck, baby. He's got kids, man. That's somebody else.
His?
That's somebody else.
Oh.
Yeah. So basically, the point is to just reiterate, in case anybody missed it. Saturday night, the DJ cutter is not allowed in the match against Doug Basham.
Dustin Jackson will be immediately disqualified, and fingers will be waved at him for breaking the rules.
I think he's still going to use it. I think
you already told me what you think, and I'm interested to see whether or not you're right, because that totally tracks, and that would make for a great match. But we'll see how it goes.
Do me a favor, take the reins here. This is your time.
Okay, so this is the first of two major Dude Love segments. His music hits. He comes to the ring with full new dude review in tow. It's hard to say that without getting tongue tied.
New dude review.
Yeah, not nude dude. New dude review.
I think there might be he could get on the burlesque circuit.
Send nudes review.
No, that's. Unless we're talking about noodles. But anyway, we're talking Dude Love, Sophia Rose, Carter Kaufman, Ryan Von Rocket enter the ring to have a contract signing for the dance competition, the Dude Love dance competition against the veteran Jack Vaughn, who is still suffering from a case of butthurt after not being Dude Love's favorite wrestler anymore, and rightly so. So they are out here talking about how, this is the only true way to settle this. And that's how they used to do it back in the day, with an old school dance off. I was really excited for this.
I'm glad that Dude Love is like a hippie, like free love character, not like a greaser, because then he would be challenging Jack Vaughn to a knife fight.
with their offhands taped together.
Yeah, I don't think that would
it'd
be
be
good.
Like Outsiders.
Yeah, it'd be
style.
like Pony Boy.
Yeah.
Jack Vaughn would dye his mustache blonde after the fire.
I stabbed him, Johnny. What are we going to do? We're going to go hide in a church, and I'm going to dye my hair.
Yeah, dude, that rules. That movie rules. The book rules.
This went on for a while.
So does Rumblefish, too, by the way. For all of you high schoolers out there, read Rumblefish. It's better than The Outsiders, actually.
Do you know why? We'll get into this off mic, but I know why somebody dies in that book.
Yeah, somebody does die.
Well, I know why, because I used to follow the author, S.E. Hinton, and she killed somebody off just to be a bitch.
Oh,
and she freely admitted it when somebody asked her about it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Jack Vaughn comes to the ring. Not super excited about the old dance-off, but he gets in there. He and Dude Love exchange some words. Dude says, we've got a contract to sign in order to have this dance off. Dude Love encourages him to read the fine print, and as a former real estate agent, I must agree with the dude's thoughts on this, because if you're going to put your signature on paper, and it is going to be binding and official, and you definitely want to cross the T's, dot the I's, and note all the minor details.
And you're a former real estate agent, and I'm a current incredulous cynic, and I would advise to never sign anything.
Not without your attorney looking at it first.
No, not even.
And not PJ
even
Jones,
then.
Esquire.
Yeah, actually, he's the only one I trust. He's the only attorney I trust.
Okay, that's fair. So Jack Vaughn goes ahead and agrees to sign the contract. He signs. And then Dude Love signs and tells him the stipulation of the match. And this was the curveball that I didn't see coming. The stipulation on this match is a hair versus hair match, which Jack Vaughn finds hilarious, being that Jack Vaughn is bald. And then that's when Dude points out that you should have read the fine print because it is chest hair.
Which is, I'm going to be honest, kind of unsettling to me.
Kind of odd, yes. I didn't see that coming, but he's not going to put the stash up.
Well, that's where I thought we were going at first.
The stash itself was like, hold up, slow your roll.
So until I heard chest hair, honestly, I was like, oh, the stakes just got raised in this tenfold because I think either Jack Vaughn's losing his mustache or Mick Foley's losing his hair. And then they said chest hair, and I was like, oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah.
But I just like the thought, and then further on in the evening, execution of watching another man his bare chest be forcefully shaved. Maybe it's best that we didn't go see Eraserhead tonight. I think I've seen enough like Lynchian stuff this week.
I think it would have been funnier if it would have been eyebrows.
That would have just been ugly. That would have just been so ugly.
The 1, 2, 3 kid on the Mattel figures from the 90s, like I guess somebody pranked him and shaved his eyebrows off the day before they had to do that photo shoot for the action figure. So if you have that action figure, there's a picture of Sean Waltman on there, and he doesn't have eyebrows if you look closely because somebody snuck one in on him.
I'm so glad. Well, I mean, I'm sure that there's still some sort of, when you're bringing anybody into like kind of a brotherhood, razzing, hazing, a little bit of that's going to go on. I really hope that we're not shaving people's eyebrows when they're asleep anymore. That's so ugly,
I hope
dude.
Not, but
it's so ugly.
We finished this contract signing, and you know me.
I do.
I'm not always a sit in your seat kind of guy.
No, I would not describe you as that.
I like to get out among the people. I like to talk. I like to hear what people are saying. I like to see my friends.
I like sitting up there with Matthew. What's up, Matthew?
Well, I sat up there with Matthew too, and I like that. But it just so happened that you asked me something last night. We'll get to that here in a minute. But something, and so Mr. Joe.
Okay, yes. Mr. Cooley.
Stop.
Well, no, he gets on.
Yeah, he will get on
Doesn't
you.
like that.
Mr. Joe, head of security at Davis Arena. I was on my way to get a drink, and he says, excuse me, would you be interested in some souvenirs? And I was like, well, Mr. Joe, you know I would. So he hands me something.
You said memories, they can't be bought.
Well,
they can't be won at carnivals for free.
I said a lot of things, and he showed me what he had, and I was like, oh, Mr. Joe, thank you so much, because he knows how we collect things. We have the pool cue from the barroom brawl match. We have the table that Cal Hero went through.
Yeah, it's new cousin, the piece of the table.
Excuse me?
The pool cue's new cousin, the piece of the table.
Oh, yeah. We've got the table from the Cow Hero and Shotgun Tony Gunn match. Mm-hmm. We have
the lovely raised Fist of the Revolution.
One of the great matches in OVW.
I have something else that will trump all of these things.
These are some big things that we got here.
Hold on. So Mr. Joe shows me what he has to offer for us to save for posterity here in the OVW studio. And I tell him that I'm very grateful. Thank you very much, as he is often very helpful in doing so. A little while later, he says, "Would you be interested in getting that signed?" And I was like, "Why, absolutely,
Which
yes,
he
of
has
course,
done.
sir."
He has done for us.
Which he has
several times.
done
The
for us
pool
several
cue
times.
is signed because of Mr. Joe.
So, I can produce for you right now, in the middle of this podcast, 2 things. Would you like to tell me what those are?
Look like pins from here.
Jack Vaughn and Dude Love.
I got the pens from the contract signing.
We
Wow.
have a Dude Love exclusive.
Wait, so they signed the pins?
Yes, they did. And of course, my answer to him asking if I wanted them to sign was absolutely. But in the back of my head, how are you going to pull that off? Because it's just a regular Bic ballpoint pen. You can get 10 in a pack for like $2 or something. But they are both signed in red ink by the veteran Jack Vaughn and the legendary Dude Love himself.
You think you get like $50 out of these?
No, that was the first thing Mr. Joe said. He said, "If I see these on eBay, I'm putting my foot in your ass." And when a man with a kilt threatens you, you pay attention.
Yeah, because they are gonna whoop your ass.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact,
You got to be a hoss to wear a kilt. Let's be honest.
after he gave those to me, he said, "Let's do a video about these." So we went outside, and he did a video to authenticate these 2 pens as coming directly from the ring, going to him, and then back to me, and then back to him, and then being signed. And we will have that video for you in Fan Zone Live this week.
Look at you. Now I'm gonna be honest. You were hyping this up a lot.
Yeah.
You
Did I deliver?
have truly outdone yourself. You have truly outdone yourself,
Yeah.
sir. This is fucking cool.
I'm going to point at the sign for old time's sake.
Well,
It's 3 weeks in a row.
It's fine. Look.
well, to be fair, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
You have sworn up and down this podcast. You get one. It's fine.
Yeah, that was
I've never had one on here, and I would agree with him. It is fucking cool.
that was the old me.
That's the one. Year and a half.
Yeah, no, I mean like
I'm not
I've
sure
seen a
that's
lot
true.
of we have a ton of cool wrestling stuff, but there's just
Nothing
something-
that cool.
This is like
So we are going to go to Hobby Lobby and get a shadow box.
Yeah, I've been sitting here thinking,
And
how
these
are,
are
we
going to
display
be
these?
mounted in the shadow box. Do we have the camera capability? If not,
Brian, Malachi,
dude, what
let's
if
switch
we
to camera
what if
2
we epoxied them?
and zoom. Can
I
we
don't
zoom
know.
in on the
Just
pins?
put them in a bit like
Here you go.
together in a big.
Hang on, we're producing live here. Just hold them up there, Brian.
sure.
He's going to
can you see
zoom
those?
in. Can you zoom in?
We'll take a
That's
picture.
fully
We'll take a
zoomed?
picture.
Okay, never mind.
Okay. We'll take a picture and we'll have more time to get in this on this week's episode of the Fan Zone. But again, huge thanks to Mr. Joe Cooley.
Good looks, Joe. That is
veteran
those
Jack
were
Vaughn.
cool. And yes, and thank you,
And
Jack Vaughn and
Dude
Dude Love. Wow, man, that's we have a probably true
Hold those
like
up one more
of
time to
one.
this camera, Brian.
Okay, hold on. I will hold them.
We
both
did
together.
adjust and point at you, so we may as well at least get at them. There we go.
I'm all hooked in with.
So those are
wires
just
and
regular old big pins.
Yes.
I can see the red from here. I don't know if it shows on camera.
whatnot. I can see my house from here, but that's beside the point.
All right,
All right, we got it.
let's move along.
I'm impressed.
Great job.
I'm very impressed, and thank you to everyone involved.
Do you know how difficult it was to not tell you that?
For you,
It's
probably
easy.
not very difficult.
You're
because
not
you've
fooling
kept,
us anymore, Hans.
You've kept some secrets over there.
Those pens went straight to the car. I did not put them in my pocket. I did not put them in my hoodie. I walked those straight out to the car. I parked all the way at the very, very end of the lot and put those in a little pouch in my backpack to make sure that they did not get lost. And I kept a close eye on them until this very moment because I wanted to share this live with you as a surprise.
So I will say this. Someone came up and asked me today at work and said, "Brother, do you know what Brian Hines is bringing on to the show?" I'm sure you could tell who asked me. Q, our warehouse manager.
Oh yeah, I did talk to him a little bit.
And I was like, souvenirs? What do you mean? And he goes, oh, I didn't say anything.
Oh, he almost spilled the beans.
Yeah. So yeah, no. So I did know that you had something, but I would not have expected that. Good job. Let's move on. We've got other things to do,
and we've only got an hour.
And we're about at it. We're halfway there, brother. About 3 of the evening. We can kind of cover Jesse Goddard's and Mount Kadim, talk about how they're going to win.
They don't even do that. They just sort of walk in.
It's fine. Anthony Katina, who's returning to OVW. I guess that's something commentary really wanted us to know over the evening.
Yeah.
He was in Mexico. He was in Japan.
I'm glad to know that because without the context, I was very surprised to see Eric Surge lose here.
Yes. I mean, not having the commentary and just being there live and watching it, he comes out, and so there's like the Scarface shirt. There's like...
Yeah, it's like the Eddie Guerrero Scarface shirt thing.
Yeah. So there's like the Scarface shirt, the man bun, and the trunks.
Which were like Liechtenstein-y, like 60s pop arty.
I haven't seen trunks like that. It's like, is the circus in town?
It was a lot.
May not have been obvious from you guys where you were watching, or you may have missed it in the moment. He kissed AJ Lee, AJ McKay at the top of the.
We saw that,
and then walked down the barrier.
Kissed him on the head.
Well, kissed him on the head. Yeah, I'm sorry, he didn't like.
And then as soon as he jumped on the ring, he lost his britches.
It was a lot.
He had pull away pants, and then the camera switches back, and bloop, there they are. He's like, the hell with this, and just rips them off and just throws them in the crowd.
He is gimmicked up.
That man's walking to the ring was like a real one promo. It was a lot.
You know what? That's actually really not a bad call. Like, I think that him and Enzo would like be killer together.
They go shopping together.
Can we get Real One back just and pair him with Katina here? Well, I know that we're kind of having a piss, but the kid is very, very talented.
Yeah, he is. He is. That much is true. He showed us that.
Yeah, he's and if we'd seen him before, I've certainly forgotten. That's no offense to him. I've forgotten a lot of stuff from the early days of this podcast. But Eric Surge here, I was surprised. I was surprised to see Eric Surge. It felt like he had all the momentum in the world, and now I feel like he's all over, back to being a guy.
He still had all the momentum with the commentary. They still talked about how he was in the Rumble for an hour and, really put him over as far as that goes. So, I mean, naturally, I thought, well, this is, going to be an introduction for a guy that we're not familiar with as a podcast. Mm-hmm. And Eric Surge is going to take the victory.
Yeah, I didn't take my GABA today, so.
Oh.
We're good. We're getting
Eric
Surge. We're getting Eric Surge as just another guy today. Malachi, cut that.
Thanks for hanging a lamp on it, guys. Maybe we're setting up an Eric Surge. Anthony.
Yeah, we all heard that over here.
Yeah, I know you did. Thank you.
And that's our show this week. Nothing else happened on OVW tonight.
I'm just going to mute my mic now.
Our next segment is brought to you by Beano.
No, Anthony Katina takes the win. He is very, very talented.
Yes.
I'm very much looking forward to seeing more of him now that he's back from his international rendezvous, or
and what have you.
And what have you. So I really love this next segment. I think that this is really, really smart, cool stuff. I love when things happen in wrestling outside of television. This is, for me, kind of in the same line of like a title change at a house show. Like, you should come to these events because you never know what'll happen. I'm, of course, talking about the kind of recap of OVW Night at the Doghouse.
Yes.
Which looked like a fun time. I know that some of our friends were there. Would love to see something like that. This is like, I love living in Lexington. honestly will probably live here for the rest of my life, the next 3 or 4 years or whatever. But I wish we lived closer to Louisville for stuff like this.
Yeah, actually, it was in New Albany, Indiana. But
That's just right across the river.
Yeah, stone's throw away.
That we see a recap. It looks like everyone's having a blast. Cal Hero and the journalist
Zachary D. Pittman III.
They're collaborating, and they're saying, we know this isn't the real Super Z.
Yeah,
what we saw last week was not the true Super Z,
which we all suspected.
Which we all
You're not
basically
anybody.
knew, and then we see Cal get attacked by Star Rider in the parking lot.
Yes, again, this is something that wasn't easily as consumed from a video standpoint at Davis Arena. You get a break between matches, you go get something to eat, but the part where Star Rider is like just right in the camera, and he's got that mask on, and he's just kind of like laughing. It's just very creepy looking, and I absolutely loved that whole segment.
It was like creepy and unsettling. It was.
I'm really getting behind this whole Star Rider. The heel rider thing is gone from just him sort of shouting to really something interesting.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I'm really, really liking this quite a bit.
Well, I think it's so easy when you turn heel to just be pedantic and childish, and some of those things that the early Star Rider was, right?
Yeah.
The early heel rider, right? This is, to talk to your point, a bigger evolution than those kind of low-hanging heel tendencies. This is maniacal. This is threatening. This isn't just like annoying, right?
Yeah.
Big difference. So yeah, Cal's out for the night. That would be the implication. Cal gets run over at the doghouse. The implication also being, hey, when we have events like this come out, you never know what's gonna happen. You might know something about tomorrow night before anybody else does.
Yeah.
We should get one of these in Lexington.
I would absolutely love that.
If only we knew a place to host one. Bout 1, hour 1 main event, bout 4. Jesse Goddard and the OVW heavyweight champion Mount Kadeem. These guys are going back and forth, cannot seem to they seem like they aren't satisfied with each other yet with the two matches or the interactions that they've had. It seemed like they want another piece of each other.
Well, yeah. I mean, Jesse Goddard does because he was on the verge of slamming Mount Kadeem and then was attacked and lost the $20,000 opportunity last week. He did manage to slam Mount Kadeem, which I guess apparently completely put him into a nocturnal state, and he was just like, is he narcoleptic?
I'm honestly chalking that one up to he knew he didn't have a lot of gas in the tank. If he could get to the side of and roll out of the ring and get the count out, he wouldn't give Jesse the win that he desired. I think that was the last little bit of Mount Kadeem's energy was getting out of the ring.
Okay. Technically, they are 1-1 because that count out of Mount Kadeem means Jesse won last week, and then technically Kadeem won this week.
Yeah, but last week it was a hollow victory, and well, actually they both kind of were because this finish was kind of messy.
These guys can't get to a point where, from a storyline perspective, they are satisfied with the match that they've had, basically.
Yeah.
The finish of this one is something I'd never seen before, but I absolutely loved it. I thought it was so cool. Mount Kadeem just gets knocked out, and Jesse Goddard can't lift him. Yeah. Jesse Goddard from being on the ground cannot overpower Mount Kadeem as he's knocked out.
Yeah, Mount Kadeem hits him with like a spinning punch, and it almost looks like their heads connect.
Mm-hmm.
And he lands on Jesse Goddard. Jesse Goddard lands on his back. Mount Kadeem lands on top. Referee Shane Chess counts the 2. Jesse is able to move just enough to get the tiniest little bit of distance between his shoulder and the mat, and that is really about all he has the energy to do.
Mm-hmm. I really, really, really liked the finish here because it, through kind of muddying the wins and losses, I want to see, the final kind of payoff. I want to see the final blow off to this. I think, which will happen at the pay-per-view, I assume.
What would your ideal payoff for this match be? If you were going to say, okay, it's a rematch, it's tied 1-1, one match apiece. We're going to do one more for all the marbles. What is your go-to match in this situation?
I don't know. I just think it has to be a clean finish. Absolutely. I don't think it has to be stepped up, anything like that. In fact, I think that it would serve both performers and the story better for it not to be a stipulation. But as long as somebody gets a clean finish, and then they can kind of say, oh, there is a better man here.
I kind of like
which is something they haven't been able to say so far.
A gentleman's match, like we saw with Tony Gunn.
That would be the 3 rounds, 5-minute rounds, 3 5-minute rounds. I don't know that these are the 2 guys for that match.
Well, you never know.
I'm in favor of a Falls Counts Anywhere match.
I think that would ultimately probably be what we're looking at if we do go with a stipulation. But for me, I just want, I don't know, man. Falls Count Anywhere matches can be
anywhere
in a lot of things. So yeah, I think. Do we know the card for the pay-per-view? Do we have any of that? Do you have any?
I can check.
Yeah, let's check and see if we're seeing Mount Kadim.
I was thinking about that earlier. I have no idea what is.
Does that feel weird to you guys that this blow-off show was not used to set up this pay-per-view?
Well, we had one of the biggest moments in recent OVW history, and that kind of needed to be a
standalone thing.
Yeah, it needed to be the showpiece of this entire show, and it was.
Okay, yeah. Dustin Jackson, Doug Basham,
of course.
Yes,
it's showing me the event rather than the pictures. Here we go. Yes, I know about Dustin Jackson. Mount Kadim versus Adam Revolver. That's weird.
Okay. So
it is, but that allows for the opportunity for Jesse Goddard to come and interfere with the match.
AJZ versus Big Zo.
That'd be fun.
Wow.
Number 1 contender scramble for the media title.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yep. Showtime, Toy, Star Player, Justice, and Anthony Katina.
Oh, that'll be fun.
I'm very looking forward to that. I was not aware that was going to be a thing, but yeah,
that'll be really fun to see Katina mix it up with those boys.
So Cal Hero and Star Rider both team with a Super Z.
Oh, I love it.
That's funny.
Oh, that's great.
And Los Desafinos. Fios.
The Defiance.
Yes, I know what it means. Or the Defiant. Take on Rocket and Lawless.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that'll be
fun. And that is what we know. Malachi back here very rightly asking, shouldn't this be on Wednesday? And unfortunately, son, there is not a Wednesday between now and tonight. So
that is a good point.
So we will just do a little fan zone live right here in the middle.
Yeah, I think that maybe in the future that should be a on shows like this, that should be something that we have ready to go to. Just a small production note there. Producing on the air, love it. So yeah, Mount Kadim knocks out Jesse Goddard. Blah 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 blah. They're not. The entire point of us looking it up was to see if they were at the if we were going to get the blow off at the pay-per-view, and we're not.
And we are not.
About 5, Hoda Peso and Super Z, the fake Super Z, and
in the old uniform.
Well, we haven't.
Which at the time we don't know.
We haven't seen the new uniform yet.
That is true.
Speaking of the new uniform. Do you remember when Spider-Man joined S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I do.
That looks like Spider-Man's suit when he joined S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, the
kind of militaristic.
Spoilers, Z's new one. Yeah, little utility belt action going on.
Yeah.
Looks very hot.
He said he was going more for a Captain America kind of thing, but
he's still very militaristic.
Yeah. I very much love the new outfit, the new costume, the new ring gear.
I'm concerned for his safety. That looks very hot.
So basically, what happens here? A short little match between the fake Super Z and Hoda Peso because Star Rider comes out and starts attacking Hoda Peso with the fake Super Z.
And oh my God, that drop kick! He kicked Hoda Peso halfway across the ring. I mean, just bam, and his head. He landed in the corner, and his head hit that turnbuckle, and we were sitting close, and we had a perfect view of it. I have never seen so much power in an OVW ring from a drop kick.
It's the Braun Breaker spear of drop kicks.
Yeah, it was.
He killed that little kid.
Here it is.
I never heard of that boy before, but he killed that boy.
Yeah,
at the Royal Rumble. Is he a YouTuber?
I don't know, but are they taking donations for his memorial?
No, I think he'll be fine. So yes, this is when we see Super Z come out with the new suit after Star Rider and fake Super Z kind of try to decimate one of the Desafios.
Super Z Esquire.
So that it's got to be. Are we more convinced now this week that it's PJ?
100%.
Oh, 100% that's PJ Jones.
Do we know this independently confirmed?
No.
Okay. Nothing but looking at that man and remembering that PJ had a picture where he had a black eye with the caption wrestling.
Got it. Oh, that's journalism. That's literally journalism, independent confirmation.
It's just me hanging out on the internet, really.
No, I love Super Z's new suit. I'm very much looking forward to the Super Z Cal Hero versus Super Z and Star Rider. And good for PJ. If it is PJ, again,
yeah.
we don't know, and nothing's a fact until it's revealed in wrestling.
But if that's the case, good for him because those are his first couple of individual matches, and
mixing it up right there with the big one, some of the biggest names in the company: Star Rider, Cal Hero, Super Z. That's good stuff. It's good stuff. Doug Basham without the mask. PJ Jones mixing it up with the big boys.
I hope that Cal's wearing a mask at the pay-per-view.
Oh, that would be funny.
Yeah, I would love it if it was two masked teams versus each other.
Cal did say that us superheroes had to stay together.
He did,
at
didn't
the
he?
Dog Pound.
Yeah. So
the doghouse.
Doghouse.
Yeah.
About 6 of the evening is Tyler Jordan versus Donovan Cecil. What did you think of Tyler Jordan? Who is Tyler Jordan?
Present.
Good question.
That was the first I'd seen of him.
That was a bad Fight Club reference. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's not like I had any previous information about him. I haven't seen him at like any independent shows or anything.
Yeah, I haven't. First time we've seen him here, right?
Yeah.
I'm not losing my mind, right?
No.
Unless he's been on Rise or Overdrive or something, which is possible. It's a guy we don't recognize versus Donovan Cecil. Need I say more?
The Mammoth.
Thanks for coming, sir.
Thank you for coming, sir.
Yes.
Really, ultimately, I don't want to blow past any of that other than we really do have to get to I want to let the main event of the night have as much time as we want.
Yeah.
So again, I'm going to hand over the reins to you. This is your here's what's you're going to be the unofficial Dude Love correspondent of this podcast.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude.
Nope.
I love it.
Okay.
Dude.
No.
Yeah.
We're Gen X over here. We're going to dude a little.
Yeah. I do declare. This is the best of times. I laughed the whole way through this segment and enjoyed every second of it. I laughed until I cried, just because the ridiculous, the pomp and circumstance of it all. It's one of the best things I've seen in such a long time.
We are, of course, talking about
the Dude Love dance-off.
With Jack Vaughn.
Yes.
Jack Vaughn to me is very funny, like in jeans. Like, I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, I had seen him quite a bit in Southern Ohio on the Spot Monkey shows. I've talked to him several times. I know what kind of stick he likes. I don't know if he's got any moves.
He had some moves.
Yeah, going into it, it's like, how's this going to go?
He had Carson Drake's move. that Carson Drake stole from Conan O'Brien.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to the Cincy Boys, I think is what he was going for.
Yeah.
He hit the Roland air raid vehicle. That was dope. I liked that. Always love little Limp Bizkit action. He looked like Fred Durst. Commentary mentioned it several times. The Fred Durst references.
Well, sure.
I mentioned it even. I put it on our Instagram. I couldn't help myself.
Yes, you did. You told me that on the way home last night as I was driving.
So honestly, here's the thing. And it might be controversial to say this. Jack Vaughn got screwed. Jack Vaughn, far better dancer than Dude Love.
Do you think that? The judges were the audience. We were the judges. We were part of.
I abstained. I don't vote.
Okay. Well, right. I know you don't. That's beside the point. That's another story. Do you think it was the breakdancing part where he was kind of like spinning around on the mat like Shemp Needs Cheese from the Three Stooges or something like that? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Do you think that was it? Do you think that was the thing that,
yeah.
the form?
Would you call it Ray-Gun-esque?
Ray-Gun-esque.
No,
because honestly, was she that bad? No, I'm just kidding. She was horrible. No, Jack Vaughn won. Jack Vaughn clearly won this. Dude Love pulling strings behind the back.
Well, it was the New Dudes review that were both the band and the judges.
Yeah, see, the fix was in.
You know what I think would have won it for Jack Vaughn? Would have really put it over the top?
What?
If he would have had like moves like Rerun.
Rerun from What's Happening?
Yeah.
Wow, that is a deep cut, Mr. Hines.
He was a phenomenal dancer.
Do you remember when Rerun got in trouble for bootlegging the Doobie Brothers concert?
Yeah, I do remember that. He had that giant, like that recorder, that cassette recorder, like in his jacket, and he's, if you've ever tried to record anything on a cassette recorder, the audio quality is straight garbage. But to be at a Doobie Brothers concert with one of these old school cassette recorders, looking back on it now is completely laughable. Like, hey, you could actually like record this and listen to it later, and like you could sell copies of it and make your own money off of the band and stuff. No, it's not how that works.
And it's so funny because all of like the most popular bootlegs of all time now have just been bought by the estates of these artists and been reissued as live albums.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like Bob Dylan, Neil Young, like notorious. The Grateful Dead, like notorious for buying these bootlegs, spiffing them up in an actual studio and selling them as live albums.
I know that the Doors have some live albums that were probably attained that way, but I wonder if Led Zeppelin does, because I probably have half a dozen Led Zeppelin bootlegs on vinyl that I don't think that I've ever listened to, because you drop a needle on it and you scratch it, that's it.
Right.
There's no takebacks, no do-overs.
It's gone.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying. I'll die on this hill. Jack Vaughn won.
Well, that may be, but either way, we win because we got the pens they used to sign the contracts with.
Well done again, sir. Well done.
Right. You know how I am. I don't play when it comes to stuff like that.
I was going to have something to say about having a contract signing for a dance-off, but the fact that there was one and then we got the pins means I can't really I can't say anything. Just be happy about it.
Now,
Yes.
what happened to the chest hair? Could we have maybe gotten that swept up?
I draw the line at that.
See, that's when I knew I had you in this moment at this podcast, because you're giving me some guff over being the guy that has the souvenirs, and Jack Vaughn loses. He's held down, and they shave parts of his chest hair, like in patches, much like my beard.
Which is just like so ugly too. Like,
yeah,
that's like
forcing him to shave the whole entire thing, and you lean over and you're like, "Hey, B. Hines, you going to try to get some of that chest hair?" And, and on the surface, I'm thinking, "Ass, party of one."
And then you thought about it.
But then underneath, I thought, I got your chest hair right here in the form of 2 signed ballpoint pens by Dude Love and Jack Vaughn. So, suck it, Trebek.
Yeah, I can't.
Way better than Jack Vaughn's hair.
And
that may be what we call the episode.
I took my GABA and L-theanine yesterday. I don't know what was wrong with me. I don't know what got into me.
I don't know. It's a shame.
Sorry.
Yikes. Looks like they almost, he could have lost a nip.
Yeah, like, again, watching a man be forcibly shaved on his chest hair specifically. Because I've seen, like, hair versus hair matches. They don't bother me.
Ah, God, look, he did it again. Like, caught him, like, right on the nip. It's like, good Lord.
But watching a man his chest hair be forcibly shaved on television and in real life, really, like, I felt like I was in Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you should have a mask on?
I needed a full face mask covered everything.
There's one behind you there if you feel the need to grab it.
No, because I mean everything. No eye holes, no nose holes, no mouth hole, nothing. That's the kind of mask I wanted to watch this segment.
That's called a bag.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to continue to take very deep breaths with a bag on my head while I was watching this segment.
No, it's breathe into a bag, not the bag on your head.
No, I'm trying. If you
are listening to this at home, children and just people in general, don't put a bag on your head.
And take your GABA and L-theanine.
Yeah. The Yo-GABA, if you can. Double up on the Yo-GABA.
Again, not intended as medical advice.
It's not medical advice.
No.
These claims have not been investigated by the FDA.
Nope.
All right. Enough horse playing around, guys. Now we got to do the emotional stuff.
Yeah, I guess we put it off long enough.
Yeah, all right.
This was hard.
So, main event. Career versus championship. J-Rod, the champion. Hollywood Haley J, her career on the line. Everybody knew what the score was in here. Man, save for maybe the little kids that were shown at the end of this match, everybody knew what the score was.
Yeah.
If you thought that you saw all of the match that you could possibly see a couple weeks ago between these two ladies,
you obviously did not.
No,
that was just the tip of the iceberg.
That was as good as either one of them has been, whether it be a Thursday night or a pay-per-view, and they exceeded even that match from a couple weeks ago with this.
I want to say Haley was walking out at the 37 minutes after the hour mark, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a good long time to let this settle.
25 minutes or so, and it's because a lot happened. Most of it, honestly, happening before the shenanigans at the end. Most of the action of this match was not the ending shenanigans. It was the wrestling match, which I really appreciate, because it can be easy sometimes to, when you know that you're just kind of trying to get to such a weird, funky ending. I feel like it can be easy sometimes to make the match only to get to that ending. This was a match that the ending was thrust upon, right?
Yeah.
Or at least that's the way it felt watching it live and watching it back. After like several minutes of back and forth from these two women, near falls, death-defying moments,
the cannonball off the top rope onto the floor.
Yes, absolutely. Some absolutely incredible stuff from these two girls, equally matched, right? You really don't know who's got it, because they don't. Neither one's given it an inch, right?
No.
So we get to what feels like the moment. And even I think you and I were like, oh, she's in the middle of the ring. There's nobody at ringside. There's nobody out here. Right as Daniel Spencer is hitting the third, the ground for the third time, mat for the third time to count to 3, giving Hollywood Haley J the victory. You just hear the ring bell go off.
Yeah. And
they did a great job of capturing that moment on screen, because it was, when we were watching it live, everyone turned and was like, what do you mean? Like, I don't understand. Like, oh, she didn't get to 3, like, what's going on, basically. And they did a great job of capturing that moment and instilling that moment on TV. And, of course, who other than Leather Daddy Doug is beating on the ring bell?
Yeah.
kind of breaking up the action. And then we get probably the biggest comeuppance that we've gotten so far on the Revolution, and Doug in particular, where Hollywood Haley J kind of takes him to the woodshed for a little bit.
She pulled out all the stops in this match. This is the finest Haley J match I have ever seen. And as far as I'm concerned, this is right up there with Cow Hero and Shotgun Tony Gunn from last year. That's
absolutely
how good this match was.
Absolutely.
I mean, just an intense match. Both Hollywood Haley J-Rod, beating each other's brains out. For Hollywood Haley J to get that close, to have J-Rod on the mat, shoulders down, 1, 2, 2 and 15/16, and then for Doug Basham to ring the bell.
Then
that's the Davis Arena screw job.
And then, of course, he's not done, because after Daniel Spencer gains consciousness and Haley has a pin on J-Rod, he's again going down for the second. He gets Doug grabs him by the feet and drags him out of the ring.
Well, before that, I mean, Haley lays into him.
Oh yeah, no, that's
the crossbody from the ring to him outside and beating him down like that, as was deserved, especially in this case.
It was the largest amount of comeuppance that Doug Basham has gotten since starting the Revolution. Absolutely, it was the biggest cathartic moment for the OVW faithful. Getting your top star, you're like truly like the belle of your ball.
Yeah, literally.
Your queen. Getting her when she gets her hands on Doug, that was the biggest cathartic moment since the beginning of the Revolution.
Yeah, and in the course of the match, you feel like, okay, that situation's been taken care of.
Yes.
Holly's going to go back and take care of business. The business at hand, which is winning the women's title from J-Rod. They get back into it. Star Rider comes out.
Yes, Star Rider comes out, brings the belt over to J-Rod. He's holding Hollywood down, and J-Rod goes for the big swing.
She misses. Hollywood ducks.
Can't cheat on Cheater.
No.
Hollywood
knows
that. Hollywood knows that one, okay?
Takes out Daniel Spencer and Doug Basham.
Right, yes.
Knocks them both to the ground.
That is the spot that I missed. I'm
neutralizing both of those two
correct.
threats, as you would think, in the middle of watching this live in real time. Not quite the case. Match still isn't over. J-Rod attempts to pin Hollywood Haley J while doing push-ups on her. The arrogance.
Yeah, that's some good stuff.
It really was, to be perfectly honest. But again,
that's how that was like when Cody was like a baby face, and he would start flexing and doing push-ups on another baby face, and you were like, "Oh, buddy, that's too much hubris. He's gonna come beat you up." I love the arrogance of that. I love the arrogance of that. So it doesn't kind of matter, though, that Doug interfered. Ultimately it doesn't. J-Rod beat Hollywood Haley J.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the Soccer Rocks is what did it.
Yeah, she beat her the way that Hollywood Haley J was planning on beating her.
Yeah,
live by the sock, die by the
Here's
sock.
Here's the thing: is we would have called it a victory if Hollywood had done it. We got to call it a victory if J-Rod did it. Cheating, still cheating, man.
If it wasn't for all the interference, if it was one-on-one, who knows? Another night, it would have been a different story. But tonight, you could just kind of feel it in the air.
It was there.
Yeah, it was. I mean, she was hugging all the little girls and the kids and the fans in the front row who have been there to support her the last 4 years. We talked about it on our last couple of shows. We kind of just felt it was going to be the case, and we were right. And this was the worst of times. This was hard. It was
tough,
very
man.
It was very emotional. Those tears you saw on camera from all those little girls, those kids, those fans, they were real.
So I'll peel back the curtain. I decided last night. I said I'm not gonna cry at this because I know what's happening, and I'm happy for her. This is a happy moment. You know, she's expanding her career. You know, I want to be happy for that. Do you know about? Right, you know, we finished this right before we started recording. We finished our rewatch.
Yeah.
The ending shot of Haley hugging a handful of girls, and then this one girl was kind of not in it, but she just kind of took that opportunity to just go ahead and like join this, and it's like Hollywood and like a group of like 4 little girls all hugging each other.
Yeah, like Gracie and 3 other girls or so that age.
Now that almost I had to take a moment. I had to take a step back and say, you ain't gonna start crying now right before we go start this.
Yeah.
Another thing though about the end that I think shouldn't go overlooked is amongst all the girls crying and my friend, the kindest boy in the world, crying. There's one girl who just has the biggest smirk on her face and is holding the R's up.
I saw that.
It is. I was so ready to be just like completely bummed and sad, and then just the smuggest smile I've ever seen on a person's face when she's holding the R's up. I was like, you know what? There is beauty in tragedy, because that is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I noticed that after the match, and it's like, yep, there it is.
So after the match, all the baby faces come and crowd the ring, stand around the ring. Hollywood's joined by Maria in the ring, of course, her mother.
Like lumberjack style.
One of the, I think, one of the Hollywood has been able to become the star that she is, really to a bunch of people kind of off the back of Netflix. If you were around Hollywood, if you were around OVW before wrestlers on Netflix, you knew she was a star. That vehicle just took her and gave her a platform to multiply her star power tenfold, right? So for no matter if you were before at OVW before wrestlers or you came because of wrestlers, Hollywood is your favorite.
Yes.
Period. Hollywood is your girl. You have seen her grow. You've seen her change. You know her life story more intimately than you know these other people's life story. And then that's what you have Maria, come out. One of the bigger points of the wrestlers on Netflix. One of the most infamous wrestling matches in OVW history was between them.
Yeah. And
we're lucky enough to know Maria a little bit. And Maria's a charmer. Like, Maria is always working. And so is Haley to a kind of a certain degree, that it runs in the family. I had never seen either of them in the interactions that I've had with them be that vulnerable as they were in the ring.
No.
That was just a very real moment for the two people standing in the ring, for the performer of Haley, and for all of her fans over the years. This was a real moment, something that you cannot manufacture.
Like you said, we know Maria. She's a friend of the show.
Perhaps the first friend of the show.
I didn't get a chance to really.
Freya.
Well, yeah.
Freya and Maria.
Also Crixus. Duh. Anyway, so
he's in the Revolution. We ain't talking about them right now.
Yeah. So I saw Maria. I didn't get a chance to talk to her, but I saw her. Mm-hmm. And you know how when you know somebody well enough to where you can kind of read the look on their face and you know what they're thinking, much like it happens between you and I.
Mm-hmm.
We both kind of got the sad lower lip out kind of slow nod, like, yeah, it's time.
Yeah.
It was hard. At the end of it, there were so many people who came up here to her and got hugs and wished her well. I was able to get like just a second, and all I wanted to say was thank you. And I'll always think of, if you can see over my left shoulder, I've got the torn up picture of Hollywood Haley J that we got from the Manchester show. will always have that Manchester show, that interview, that experience from that day.
It was a heck of a day.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that one day when several years from now.
When we launch the unofficial podcast, the backstory behind the OVW podcast.
You guys saw Wrestlers on Netflix, you could probably imagine, but I do want to say this. I think for pretty much everyone inside of Ohio Valley Wrestling, Hollywood Haley J is admirable. Like, if you're a dude, you think that she's like the coolest, hottest chick. If you're a chick, you think think she's the coolest. Like, you know, if you're a little girl, that's who you want to grow up to be.
Absolutely.
If you have a sister, you wish your sister was more like that. If you had if you have a granddaughter, like, you think of Hollywood as your granddaughter or your daughter. Like, she is such a personality and has been around OVW for so long that people have what is more akin to a genuine, intimate friendship, parasocially, certainly, but a genuine caring and affection and admiration for this person. And that's not something you can manufacture. That's not something that comes along all the time. It's not something that any wrestling promotion can ever guarantee themselves, is to have someone like Hollywood Haley J and the amount of true, genuine connection she's had with these people over the years. All of that is one of the bases for her success is just how truly admirable she is as a person. The other part of her success is that she's worked her ass off in the last 5 years.
And I also would like to add that she is unabashedly authentic.
Yes.
What you saw on Netflix is what you get in real life.
Yes.
And if you're true to yourself, you can only do nothing but great and wonderful things.
She has worked her ass off. She has become, the character was like always there with her, and it's because very little of its character.
Yeah.
The wrestling has improved so much, like to an unquantifiable degree, and it's been a thrill to watch. And I'll say this to echo our sentiment from last week, now that we know it's confirmed, congratulations.
Yeah.
You deserve it. Whatever is in your future, you deserve it. And we won't forget about you around here at the podcast. OVW fans will certainly not forget about you. And I have a feeling it's going to be very, very hard, no matter where Hollywood goes in her career, for her to ever forget about Ohio Valley Wrestling.
Undoubtedly so. That's quite literally the house that Haley built. That's
Yes,
Haley's house.
It is. It is. Best of luck to Hollywood Haley J. When we hear something, we'll report on it.
Somebody like that, I'm sure we will see her much sooner than later.
Yeah, we will. When we know something that is tangible, we will
reportable.
We'll make it work.
Independently verifiable.
So if you're listening to this on Saturday morning as it drops, hopefully we will see you tonight at OVW Tough Love. If you don't have tickets already, you better get them quick, OVWTIX.com.
Yeah, if you don't get them quick, it might not be tough love. It might be tough shit.
It might be tough shit for you and your loved ones if you don't already have your tickets to OVW Tough Love. Brian Hines, thanks. Thanks for sitting down and doing this today. I know that I was kind of in a bad mood. Thank you for keeping the energy right, man.
It's just one of those things. We sit down, music comes up, Malachi points, and you just and there it was. It was a rough week. I know you had a lot going on. I have practically lived here. Been so busy with work and stuff.
For the year of 2025, essentially, you have lived here.
Pretty much ever since the big snow hit after the Nightmare Rumble.
So
it's been nonstop ever since.
And we were gonna even go see a movie, but we wanted to make sure that we had enough time to cover this show and cover Haley's goodbye for now, with the brevity that it deserved. So
yeah, and the movie we were going to see was Eraserhead tonight in tribute of David Lynch. But the good news is I have almost everything that he's ever produced. So we can watch this any old time, and we can watch it on the big screen at our leisure. But we'll get more to that later.
Yeah, sorry we couldn't get you out in time to go watch that tonight.
No,
If that is, you know what I say. If that's the worst thing that happens today, we'll all be fine.
Yeah, and we had kind of already decided it might not be in the cards tonight. But
As soon as my behind hits a seat other than the studio, I'm probably going to be out.
I'm actually just gonna, as soon as we turn off all the lights, I'm just gonna go to sleep right here.
Oh, okay. Well, can I get you? You want me to put one of these curtains down? They're pretty thick and comfy.
Like for a blankie? Yeah.
Then there's a couple
actually, I'm
pillows
gonna
around
use Super Z's cape.
Perfect. Yeah.
You better roll up tight.
Oh, but I roll up tight before I go to sleep.
We will see you
for all of
tonight
us here. Yes, for all of us here, we will see you tonight at OVW Tough Love.
Be sure to get your tie-dye rose from Perfect Pitch.
Perfect. Jason at bookperfectpitch.com.
As a matter of fact, if you see me, I might have a coupon in my pocket. A couple of them.
Oh no, those were Dude Love and Jack Vaughn signed pins.
I also have those, but no, maybe he gave me a couple coupons.
Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. You're gonna have to grab into Brian Hines' suit pocket, Bob Barker style, to find out, though.
No, absolutely not.
If you do book an event with Jason or go and get your picture made with Jason tonight, tell him we sent you.
Please.
And follow him on Instagram.
And he's easy
Perfect
to talk
Pitch
to.
Louisville.
He's easy to talk to. Great guy. For all of us here at the OVW Podcast, my name is Jack Minogues.
I'm Brian Hines.
Tiny Brian, Malachi P.S. Woodard. We love ya. See ya.